Good afternoon, everyone. Is it going to rain finally for some of us? I know some of us, especially down south, have gotten some rain, but I want to give you an update on what's going on for this afternoon and evening. If you don't know, one of the reasons I came on was we do have a severe thunderstorm watch that was just issued about 15 minutes ago. Get to the right screen here. There we go. Till midnight. As you can see, most of the watch is south of Dallas and Tarrant County proper. So if you live in Denton County, Collin County, it doesn't mean that you wouldn't see anything. Certainly wouldn't mean you wouldn't see any storms, but the gist of the thinking is that we will see most of the storms in this within this watch box area south of Interstate 20 for the most part. But it doesn't mean that we won't see anything. So let's kind of get an idea of what's going on outside right now. So it's a warm one out there. It's almost 94 degrees and the dew point's in the low 70s. So that makes it feel like it's over 100. So it's quite oppressive outside. That will help if we can get some rain out of it. That will help some rain, some storms form. We don't want anything bad, of course, but it will help the chances of storms forming, and that will give us a chance for rain, which is what we want. We don't want the hail. We don't want the tornadoes that come with it, although this is not really a tornado situation. But it's something that we definitely want to keep an eye on for tonight. That's why I came on real quick to give you an update on the specifics. So again, let's go about the specifics of the watch itself. So as you can see, Dallas, Tarrant County, Kaufman County, Rockwell County points west and southwest. Again, this is for the possibility of hail up to 2 inches in diameter in isolated storms, wind gusts to 70 miles an hour, again, in isolated storms. Of course, obviously, you got lightning and thunder that you got to watch out for. And this is early on in the process. It's still midnight, so they're thinking this might be an event that would last, at least the potential for storms would last until around midnight or so. It just depends on how things evolve. So, speaking of evolving, let's look at the satellite picture. I'm going to refresh this. And as you can see, you had some storms up in southeast Oklahoma. They kind of withered away. But we do see some storm development out in West Texas, Southwest Texas that we're going to keep an eye on. And I know it's a little hard to see, but around the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, which is basically this area that I'm circling right here, you are starting to see a little bit of vertical cumulus development. Not a ton, but you are starting to see some. So that gives us a little indication of the vertical motions in the atmosphere rising a little bit. And of course, you can't have thunderstorms without the air rising. So that is why we're seeing a little bit more of an uptick in the potential for storms. Now, if we go to the radar, so this is the radar out of Abilene, and you can see we do have some storms that have formed. We don't have any warnings yet. We have some special weather statements, which is what you see in those orange type boxes, if you will, or peach, I guess. And actually, if we look, let's look at some details on this particular one. Yeah, right now, winds in excess of 40 miles an hour, nickel size hail. Now, again, if you're just joining us, this is way out west. This is south of Abilene, so nothing in the immediate Dallas-Fort Metroplex to be concerned about for sure. But as the evening goes on, it's something we want to watch out for. Now, I will say, too, like the last couple of days, most of us, not all of us, but most of us have missed out on appreciable rain. And I'm afraid that might be the case again today. I'm not saying most of us will miss out. I'm just saying some of us will miss out. And depending on how many storms form this evening, it may be something where most of us miss out or maybe none of us miss out. We definitely all want to miss out on the storms, that's for sure. So if we put this in motion, let's see, get that out there. And you're going to see this east, maybe a little bit more of an east southeast movement, but generally toward the east. So these storms, they would obviously have to hold together. You're talking, 4 or 5 hours away if they held together that long, which in a way you kind of hope to do from a rainfall standpoint. But so nothing to be concerned about in the immediate couple of hours. Although I will say, you do see a storm that has popped up. Oh, just southwest of Mineral Wells. Just something to watch. It's obviously a lot closer than these storms are out here. But again, I think as a satellite picture showed, we're seeing some vertical development of these cumulus clouds that will help us, again, have the possibility of seeing some rain. Now, I wanted to show you a model for this evening, and I like to kind of give you an idea of what to expect. So, let's see, this is running now. So this is, of course, this is now, and of course, the model is spot on, of course, because it's right now. But if you go, this is 4 o'clock, the 4 o'clock run. So this is 5 p.m. This is a forecast radar, not anything that would be necessarily going to happen for sure. So this is 6 o'clock. Says a storm, a little, shower maybe is going to form in Dallas County. We shall see. That quickly goes away. 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Not a whole lot going on. 9 p.m. Again, that's why you see this watch being mostly south of Dallas Fort Worth. It does include Dallas Fort Worth, Dallas and Tarrant County, but these models are showing some potential for development. And then 10 o'clock, 11, midnight, and 1 a.m. Interesting if that were to come into play. And then 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and 4 a.m. So really, this is just one model. Now we go to the North American model. Let's see, make sure so this is 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7, 8, a little bit more active, as you can see, 9 p.m., 10 p.m. That would be, not from a storm standpoint, but that'd be glorious from a rain standpoint, that's for sure. So we do have, again, I think that's why the watch was issued, because you do have some potential for storms later this evening. Not a great potential, but at least some potential. And ironically, we have some storm potential for the next couple of days. Ironically, hey Kara, yeah, falling apples. Yeah, so I think Kara is referencing the severe storm graphic, and I'll go back to that severe thunderstorm watch graphic. Yeah, so if you can see over here, so it's interesting because I had this conversation with someone else before. This says scattered hail up to apple size. It's interesting because we go from money to sporting equipment. So you got dime, penny, nickel size hail, quarter size hail. Then you go to sporting equipment. You got golf ball size hail, softball size hail, baseball size hail. Then you got some fruit. Now, we don't ever want to hear about grapefruit size hail, but they do use that quite a bit in the biggest hail, grapefruit size. But you don't hear apple too much. That's kind of the 2-inch version of hail. But it's just really weird how it goes from from money to fruit to sporting equipment back to fruit. You would think there'd be one consistent thing, but it doesn't work that way. So yes, Kara. So going back to that model, back to Kara's point, let's go back here. And especially the North American model, and that's the HRRR. Don't want that one. Let's go back to the North American model. And let's actually, I want this run. Let's go back to that one Kara was talking about. See, that's midnight. So let's go backwards. 11, 10, 9, 10. Yeah, so hopefully no apples will be falling from that. Actually, let's go back to the HRRR. I think that might have been where we saw most of that. Let's see, 7, 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10, 11, 12. Well, yeah, there you go. 1 o'clock. That's what it was. So, yeah. It's hopefully no fruit will be falling from any of those thunderstorms, because that fruit would be in the form of ice, and we do not want that. None of us want that. We just want the rain. As I've said for the last couple of days, we just want the rain. So again, this is one model. We saw another model. It does seem to be somewhat bullish on some rain for Dallas-Fort Worth, especially as we get later into the evening. But again, I don't know that that's going to happen. Hey, Debbie, watching from the Tractor Supply parking lot. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's warm out there, so I hope you're staying cool. Just, we had this severe thunderstorm watch, if you're just joining us, issued about 15, 20 minutes ago until midnight for Dallas, Tarrant, Rockwall County, and South and West. Denton, Collin counties, you're not included in that. However, if you do live in those counties, you're not necessarily out of the woods. But I think most of us are not excited to see storms. Most of us would be excited to see some rain. I know my garden would, that's for sure. Okay, so let's go back to radar here before we wrap this particular update up. All right, let's go back here. All right, we'll click off that. And, well, that's not the radar. That's way far away. Okay, there we go. So again, no severe thunderstorm warnings for those storms. And if we click on the Dallas radar, again, I would just point out nothing to be obviously overly concerned about, but we are seeing some development southwest of Mineral Wells. Be interesting to see what that one does. These storms around Abilene, there's another severe weather statement that went up, special weather statement, I should say. So let's scroll back out here to a little wider view, see what we got going on. All right, so we'll put this in motion. Yeah, like I said, so east, but mostly east. Some of these, and that's the thing I should mention too, is that these storms, if we do get supercells, and you're seeing some of this, I'll zoom in a little bit on this. So we will see some splitting supercells, left-right movers. I don't think that we're going to see a big tornado threat, but we are going to see some left-right movers. And in actuality, you could see this storm right here, split right there. And then you see as these storms go in motion, you are seeing some storms split. So the left split, as they say, is typically more of the hail producers than the right split. In a different environment, the right movers would be more tornado producers, but we don't have a lot of that going on. And then lastly, this shows it pretty good. I don't know if you can see it, but we got this cold front, stationary front that I talked about this morning. So that's kind of the boundary between, south of that boundary is where we would most likely see some storms. North of that boundary, we likely wouldn't see a lot of storms. And that's why you see the Severe Thunderstorm Watch issued for areas, the counties, Dallas, Fort Worth, and south, and not north because of where that boundary is. And these storms, especially if these supercells get going, which, again, we don't want the supercells because we don't want the hail, but they'll tend to ride that boundary if it gets close enough to the boundary, and then that's where the more of the Metroplex would be impacted if it does do that. If not, if these storms continue to do more due east, then it would stay south of Dallas Fort Worth. So, which is good from a storm standpoint, bad from a rain standpoint. All right, so let's wrap this up. I don't see a whole lot more in the comments. I just kind of want to give you an overview of the severe weather outlook. This is a little bit, not a whole lot different from this morning. So this is the overall severe weather outlook. Again, we're in the yellow, so that's slight risk, level 2 out of 5. Chance of seeing severe weather, 25 miles within a point, about 15%. Nothing to get too worked up over. The tornado threat is, as I mentioned, is about 0. It's not 0, but it's about 0. So there's not a lot of issues there. The severe wind outlook, again, this is wind 50 miles an hour, or excuse me, 57 miles an hour or greater. About a 15% chance, so nothing too horrible, much greater chance in Kentucky and Tennessee. And then the hail threat. This is this hasn't changed a whole lot from this morning. This is the hail threat is about 15%. Again, a hail threat is defined as seeing severe hail, which is 1 inch in diameter or greater, 25 miles of a point. The hatched area is the 10% chance of seeing significant hail, which is 2 inches in diameter or greater, which is what Kara referenced as Apple. Hopefully, we will not be seeing any of that. Sure, but if we do see hailers, they will be in our neck of the woods, unfortunately. And then I just wanted to briefly talk about tomorrow. So again, we have another slight risk of seeing severe weather tomorrow, and there are a couple models that say we will see more of a convective system move through late tomorrow afternoon into the evening hours. We'll see if those models hold. That's why you see this severe weather outlook for tomorrow. A little bit more of a tornado threat tomorrow. Again, nothing terrible, but again, northwest of Dallas Fort Worth. And the wind outlook, pretty similar to the overall sphere. And they think the hail outlook tomorrow will be more west of us, at least a significant hail. We'll have to see if that bears out. And then if that's not enough for you, then we can go on to Tuesday. And again, more of a Dallas-Fort Worth northeast. And that is, about a 15% chance, give or take. So let's go back to satellite one more time. So the bottom line is this. Unless these storms really grow upscale, like we've talked about, then not everybody's going to see rain tonight. hopefully, none of us will see storms of any significance. However, if these storms grow upscale, which they're certainly capable of doing, then we will see something. More people would see a chance to see rain. Like I said, nobody wants to see the fruit falling from the sky, as Kara said. We want to see the liquid rain falling from the sky. That's what we want to see tonight. So I'll be watching it. Of course, I think unless some storms pop right over us, which is not totally out of the realm possibility, then I think we're going to be safe for a couple hours if we do see storms. You're welcome, Debbie. I appreciate you watching and listening. I know it's a Sunday afternoon and people are doing other things, but I just wanted to pop on real quick and give everybody an update on where we are at. Well, I don't see any more questions in the chat, so I will sign off as always. I am watching the weather, so you don't have to. I hope I'm only back to say, hey, it's raining, as opposed to, hey, it's hailing. So let's hope that's the case. But again, I appreciate everyone watching, and we will talk to you soon. Hope you have a great rest of your evening.